Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's Court of Swords time. It feels like we haven't done this in a month because I think it's been about a month, believe it or not. I did not realize that.
Forever.
I hope everything is running and working because I haven't done one of these in at least a month, and there's a lot of moving parts. So if there is,
All right, quick, somebody Alt F4 and give you a heart attack. Don't do that. Don't. I'm joking.
I mean, the nice thing is their camera will just freeze, so they'll just go.
Yeah, right.
And then they'll join again. That'd be great. Yeah.
I have thought about just going like,
yeah. I actually think that your chroma key is on. I need to key that or fix that. You don't have anything green behind you, but yeah.
You don't want to key out the beautiful green from my capital.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
Art hanging over my bed.
Yeah, luckily.
Looks like a fan poster for House of Cards.
Yeah, lucky no, it was keyed out. Matt, where is I don't even know where GDQ is ever. I just think it's a thing
Virginia.
It's in where? Virginia?
Herndon, Virginia, which is just outside. It's basically DC area. That's what it is, just outside of DC. And
is it always there, or do they change venues and locations?
You haven't heard of Herndon?
No, man. What the? I don't even know.
Yeah, I guess this is where they usually have it at for HGDQ.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then GDQ is in St. Paul?
SGDQ is in...
Or SGDQ?
Swap around a little bit, but it's Minneapolis, right? Something like that.
Yeah. Did you know that Virginia is not a state? It's a commonwealth.
Really?
No one cares that.
I actually did know that because of Fallout.
Oh.
Do you know the state with the longest name on the books?
Sure.
It's Rhode Island and the Providence Plantation.
That's right, because that's the official name of it. Yeah.
Yep.
The Providence
you guys,
Plantation.
Just the most interesting people here on this show.
Yeah.
Just
Wait,
drop
this
it.
is a new thing this is a new thing we're doing because
You know that Illinois' primary export is... No, I'm just kidding.
one of the cast members, they got in trouble with the law. We're not, able to tell you who it is, but as part of their community service, we got to teach you some exciting United States facts.
Yeah. Dan, I still can't believe you did that. I don't. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they caught you. It's even more crazy, but we're doing it for you, Dan. All right. This is all your fault. It's unbelievable. Max, what are you doing in Virginia? What are you out there for? We'll start with
I'm here
that.
for AGDQ. Awesome games done quick. It's the first one that I've ever attended. First GDQ. I've watched them, obviously, like everybody else, for many, many years. And I thought it would be a good time to attend one and see how it goes. I put my card in for doing some hosting, so I did that. I was supposed to do another hosting slot today, but of course, Court of Swords priority. But I did a couple slots. Yeah, I did F0. And I started, oddly enough, like I wasn't nervous about it at all, but I screwed up on like a couple of my words. It wasn't the actual hosting thing that I was like nervous about. It was not fucking up their stuff because they had like a new dashboard that they rolled out this year for the people that are doing the donations and stuff. And I was pretty familiar with it, but there's a couple things where I was like, I don't know about this. So that was the thing that kind of tripped me up a little bit. But once I got into groove, it's fine, zone kind of thing. And then when I did the Halo 5 Guardian slot, I think it went really well. But I definitely want to do it again. It's fun.
Yeah.
Wish I was able to do more of it, but this was kind of like a test run to see how I wanted it, how it was being here and doing hosting. But yeah.
More importantly, how was it falling asleep in the crowd?
Oh, that was fucking awesome. Yeah, for those that don't know, I think we probably have the clip somewhere. I can find it.
Yeah, I'll try to find it.
I was after I did my hosting slot for I don't remember actually what day it was. It must have been after not yesterday, the day before. I went to the bar and I had some Blue Moons and stuff, and I was 5 or 6 beers deep. And then I just went and chilled and was watching because no one else was watching a whole bunch because it's the later, graveyard shift hours. And I was just sitting there watching. I guess I dozed off and they switched cameras because they switched games and I was in frame and it was just me like this in the background. So somebody from, the production team came over and woke me up and was like, "Hey man, you can't sleep here. Sorry, dude. You gotta get up or do whatever."
You get that a lot,
like,
Max?
oh
People
yeah,
wake
sorry.
up and be like, "You can't sleep here, buddy. You gotta go home."
Poking me
I
with a
certainly
stick.
do.
Yeah, I was just going for a walk in my local neighborhood park and just sat down on a bench, fell asleep with this ratty blanket on me and this paper bag full of whiskey. And this cop was like, "You can't sleep here, man." And we're all like, what a funny joke.
I just blame those. The seats are pretty comfy for a spectator seat. Those are like cushioned, chair ones.
Are they the
They're nice.
usual convention chairs that aren't
Yeah,
comfortable
they're
and
like
you're a
convention
weird
chairs, but
person?
What's that?
They're not actually comfortable chairs and you're just weird? Is that?
They're comfy. They got cushions. They're cushioned. Listen, the thing I was sitting on had like about that much cushion on it. If it's like this much, I hear you. Maybe not so comfortable, but you get this much, that's not bad for convention chairs. And 6 beers deep, and you're just kind of just chilling. You know what I mean? Like, that's not like a crazy amount of beers, but you know, if you don't have a lot in your stomach like I did.
You know, Max, this is the content that people tune in for: American history trivia and chair reviews.
Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
yeah, we can. What's
Yeah,
up?
I can hear you now.
I didn't realize.
I was muted.
Yeah, I didn't realize we didn't do sound check for you in the opening of the show.
So how far off were your time predictions, Max?
Time predictions for what?
Like your schedule, like because mine was like.
Oh yeah, like
long,
how
like
off
5
was it?
hours.
Oh really? It was that bad, huh?
Yeah.
Mine were pretty okay. I think it was in, a period of like 15 to 30 minutes, somewhere in there.
Oh,
you know?
okay. Yeah, you got off easy,
Yeah,
man.
it wasn't too bad. No, they were pretty good for mine, but I was
No, I
expecting
was scheduled for like
that.
6 p.m. and I didn't start going until like midnight. I was just like, Jesus, man.
That sucks.
They don't schedule you with the time. You stay with the game that you're supposed to be doing your block, so your game can get moved around.
Oh, I
Just
know.
they
I
change that for
kept
you.
watching it like tick down, like in
Yeah.
the times.
Yeah. I also the only other crap up that I had was okay, so a little context. The back end, they have like a dashboard, right? And you're supposed to select once you log in as, a host or whatever. You log in and you're supposed to select the current event that you're on, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't by default select the current like AGDQ 2018. And I totally forgot to do that. So I had some like old donations that were there from like their previous event. And I didn't know that. Thankfully I only read the one, but the one that I read
So
was a
you're
$1,000
the reason
donation.
that all this controversy
Yes,
started.
apparently.
Wow.
Apparently people on Reddit are like, they're reading old donations. They're doing fake donations. Listen, guys, I fucked up.
Wow.
All right. So if anyone wants to link this to Reddit, it was me. It was me. I was
Also,
a dummy.
come
That's a
check
really
out
good
Roleplay
Reddit
Court of Swords over at.
But, however, in my defense, whoever read that donation from before did not read it because in their system you check it off once it's read as read, and then it goes away. It's no longer in the system. So partly their fault. Whoever read it way back when, read it right.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
And then it was my fault in terms of reading it. And after I read it too, I was like,
Yeah. I have a
But-
confession too. Last night I was going to sleep. They were playing Burnout or something, and the guy that was reading goes, "I've got 30 daughters," and then he was like, "Dollars." I meant to say dollars. Jesus,
Oh God, dude.
And then he misspoke and said that, and then I was like, "How come no one ever tips and says like their name is something awful?" Anyways, I'm going to sleep, and I woke up the next morning, and there's a clip of him saying Mike Hunt is donated.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh God, I willed that into reality. That's the thing.
No, I think he was oblivious to that shit. And normally they catch it. Normally they do, but like, it looks like Mike Hunt looks innocuous on paper.
Yeah, of
like you read it,
course.
it's like, oh,
if you're gonna
you
read
don't
it though,
say Mike Hunt in your head.
The
I
donation
had
was
that
very
before.
clever. He did like, I want to thank my brothers John, Steven, and Mike Hunt.
Yes.
So that way, like, he didn't catch it at first.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I willed that into reality. I felt like
whenever I've gotten that as like a donation for just even on the stream. Well, sometimes I'll say it just because it's funny. But usually I just leave a long pause in between there. I'm like, Mike Hunt. So there's no, it's like kind of like I see what you did there, but
yeah.
But yeah, anybody
Oliver
who was,
Close-Off. I'm looking for Oliver Close-Off.
Yeah, I just start thinking about Simpsons and
Yeah,
just go through that
exactly.
entire list.
Amanda
I'm a
hug and
stupid
kiss.
moron, and I like to touch my own butt.
Amanda hug and kiss. I'm looking for Amanda hug and kiss.
Yeah, that's great. Fucking Mo. Well, cool. You're done with, you did, I saw you doing Halo Guardians last night, and then you did the other two games you mentioned. Is that it? Are you doing any more?
That's it for me. Yeah, I would have had Left 4 Dead 2, but I'm doing the show here, so it's cool though because I only wanted to be here for like 3-4 days, a couple days, and just kind of test it out, and then see if I wanted to come back for SGDQ. And I'm gonna try to come back for SGDQ. Hopefully, someone else will come. Zeke, come. Yay! We'll
How
have
many
fun.
slots did you get?
I got 3. for the like I told them I was going to be here from the 7th to the 9th, and they gave me 3 slots.
Okay.
So that was it.
No, I would definitely go if they gave me more time. And I'm not like saying that to be like egotistical. I'm saying like, I mean, I'm here. I paid for the flight shit. Like,
yeah,
you know,
you want to be able to do something, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah. So again, just in case somebody wants to clip this, I'm the idiot who's responsible for the fake $1,000 donation from Fangamer. Apparently, it was from their previous, they put together a stream for like the Texas relief stuff that happened, So yeah, sorry about that. I plan to offset that donation because I usually donate anyways, and be like, I'm probably gonna put it in the message to you, like, hey, by the way, I screwed up. Here's the money.
Yeah. Well, cool. Glad that you were able to get everything sorted and join us here. He is on hotel internet, so it's a great test to see if this whole new voice software that we're using is going to work out. But we did some tests yesterday, and it seemed fine, and it seemed fine so far today. So we'll just have to see where it goes. Dan, how's it going with you? I saw you're playing Oblivion, but more importantly, why did you stop playing Path of Exile, Dan? You were so close to Shaper.
I'll get back to it. It's the game that never ends. Like I can keep going and going and going. But yeah, like I was doing it like full time for like 2 weeks in a row, so I was getting kind of burnt out on it. So taking a little break, and I'll go back to farming Shaper.
Okay.
Soon.
Right. Are you ever going to stop with the SRS Lite? If I don't even know what you want to call it. Are you ever just going to like fully embrace Path of Exile and get into the trading, or no? It's just not you.
I've been trading nonstop. I just make a joke of it that I'm trading with NPCs.
No, I get that, players. But you're not like fully into it, man. You're like SRS Lite, It's like,
yeah,
I don't know. I look at them just like you could just buy that, Dan. Like what are you
PoE is like a lifestyle. You got to like commit to it. you got to go all in there.
It's true.
Yeah, but I'm not ready for that level of commitment yet. So I just want to casually experiment with PoE.
Sure.
See how I like it.
Yeah. I played You Got a Friend in Me when I sold one of my axes today because I was so sad of letting it go after 2 weeks of just the greatest times together. So
had that one piece of gear that you farm weeks with, and then you let it go.
I let it go for 13 Exalt. You just
not bad.
Yeah. Well, it dropped prices overnight. That's why I wasn't using it, and it's like shit. It dropped 5EX overnight. I gotta sell right now. But anyways, how's your Oblivion run going? I saw a little bit of it. That game is so old. Such an old game.
I forgot how much I hated the combat system until you get back into it.
Yeah.
Oblivion's combat is just so like you just sit there and whack on something for like 10 minutes trying to whittle down its health. It's so annoying.
Whacking on something for 10 minutes, It's,
yeah, whacking on something 10 minutes till it finishes,
Yeah.
Listen, man, when you're my age, 10 minutes
sprays the loot all over
something. You gotta get that down to 2 or 3 minutes. I got shit to do.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. It's fun.
That's why I play Spellcasters.
That's right.
You
get it up there in one go.
Yeah, then you just summon your mage hand and let that go to town. Jesus.
Yep.
Dude, from fucking Morrowind on up to Dark Souls 3, it's been Spellcasters for me all day, every day.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I saw you're a pretty big fan of the best game ever made, Path of Exile. Don't hate me, Chad. It's the best game ever made, right? Or I meant They Are Billions. Jeez, PoE still in my mind.
They Are Billions.
Yeah, They Are Billions. It's the best game ever made.
It's unique. I like They Are Billions. Like
that measured response.
It's not there yet, but
Yeah.
Well, they did
release it. I've ever played. It was.
They did release it earlier than they wanted to, so hopefully they'll be able to back it up with some changes and stuff.
Well, they have
that game's fun.
I played a lot of shitty early access games. This was a very, very good one in comparison.
Yeah, for sure.
Early access.
Yeah. When is that campaign mode? Isn't that supposed to be soon? The campaign mode for They Are Billions? Isn't that supposed to hit sometime soon?
I'm not sure. Haven't been checking what their development plans are yet.
From their original plan, they released it 6 months earlier than they wanted to. So that gives you an idea of like what their plan was, in terms of like their time frame. So I don't think if they're true about that statement, like I don't think it'll be that far off. I'm sure they're trying to get it going. But like Dan said, that was a game. I actually played that game like pretty early on on the Twitch thing, just because of the person that's been spamming all the devs pretending to be a Mexican refugee, saying like, "Hi, I'm GassyMexican, a Mexican refugee and blogger. Can you please send me a code for your game so I can review it? It's the only way I can get into into the States across the border. My career and destiny is in your hands." They've like spammed that email to like so many fucking devs. Like I have friends in the industry that are like, "Yeah, this is clearly not you, but do you know this is going on?" I'm like, "Yeah, that motherfucker
I
is
saw that Twitter
persistent."
exchange. It was good.
What
Yeah,
the fuck?
he's still doing it. And so they were one of them. They hit up the devs for that game, and I watched the trailer after. I'm like, "No, it's not me," because they asked, for confirmation. I'm like, "It's not me, but your game looks cool, so I'll like if I can get a code."
I mean, it worked.
It worked out,
Works,
I guess.
right?
Yeah.
And then other people were speculating. Some of my other friends were like, "What if they were just pretending like they're the Mexican refugee?" And
Yeah,
that's
you
just
just got
a scheme. You just got
Yeah.
exactly. It was.
Hey, that's more
Kudos to
creative
them.
than
I
hello,
wouldn't-
insert streamer name here.
I
We've
wouldn't.
been watching
I wouldn't
your
even be
channel.
mad.
You have
We're a
great
big
content.
fan of your.
I love
Yeah, we're a
those
big fan of your
emails.
content.
Yeah.
We love your name last video or stream that I just.
We love your roleplay Court of Swords episode 53 dash the lonely orc.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thanks. Cool. Yeah, let's work together.
But I was very surprised by how fun it was. It scratched that kind of old Command and Conquer RTS itch, but with having zombies in an interesting way. I think that's probably one of the most unique zombie games that I've played, because everything else is just like, oh, zombies kill them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It throws a different kind of curveball at it. You're not fighting some sort of AI that has like a bunch of troops and they're attacking. It's like literally one of them gets past, your base is fucked. Like, at least if they
I do
get another
love that.
resident.
I love that you can pause the game and think before you react instead of it just being
Absolutely,
pure RTS. It would have been
Oh.
horrible if it was just RTS.
That game would be
Yeah, that was.
it'd be so difficult if you couldn't pause. It'd
I
be
still
nuts.
suck at it. I'm literally like, hey, I haven't won once, and I'm playing on slightly easier difficulty, and
Yeah.
everyone else like Dan's like, I'm on 160% most difficult fourth map. Fuck you, haha! You suck at the game, nerd.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
I got slaughtered like 8 times on the easy difficulty on the first map, like for 3 days in a row. So don't worry, I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
think it's
did-
just the
yeah.
sheer amount of time you guys have put in. I'm just not there. What were you say, JP?
No, I was good. I can't talk about that game without getting triggered by chat. So I'll just get triggered once this week, and then we'll just move on from that. So I'll save it for drop frames tomorrow.
Okay.
It's a perfect game. We'll just go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
then-
absolutely flawless, no problems, no unbalancing issues. It's perfect.
Perfect game. Perfect game without doubt.
Every unit is exactly the one you want. They're all equal.
Video games are over. We're done. We hit it. We hit the top. We're done.
Yeah.
Thanks
They're
for coming.
built-
Yeah.
they're
What's
built
your
perfect
what's
game.
your strat? What's your like go-to? Do you?
Well,
What's
you
some
just
tips?
mass snipers and Tantos, and you'll win the
That's
map.
what I figured. I was gonna say, do you just spam a bunch of snipers? Because snipers, especially once they get veteran, and
Yeah,
Just
they're
fuck
too
everything
strong.
up.
Yeah.
They can handle anything in the game. There's OP. You
I just
get
gotta
like a
spam
group of
bunches.
30 of them, you can clear the whole map, and nothing can reach them because they fire so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing. It didn't work out. I think I only tried like 8 times. I got to the last wave on 100% or whatever on the first map. Died twice. I was like, all right, I'm done fighting chat. This game's all right.
Yeah.
Let's
So
move on.
much of it is map RNG, because sometimes you get a terrible map or a map where you're like, your base is entirely surrounded by mountains and just a little hole they have to go through.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep. And a lot of it, I think, too, is the Sim City in the first 30 minutes impacts this last, like, 10 hours later, the last 5 minutes of the game. And if you have, like, bad Sim City, you can kind of just lose because of that, which is a little annoying. But anyways, we'll be talking about that more tomorrow. I'm glad. I think people are still, like, that's still a hot game, basically, on Twitch.
Yeah.
People are still into it. So.
We're still playing it.
Zeke, how's Weebland? How's that going?
Oh, it's great. I've talked it to death. I don't really need to talk about it anymore.
I
I mean,
mean-
I'm still like, I'm at 156 hours or something like that. And apparently I'm like 70-ish% of the way through it. And I mean, I just take a long time to do everything. And this just compounds it when it's a fucking 100+ hour game anyway for a normal playthrough.
Yeah.
So like usually it's time and a half for a normal playthrough for me. So if it's 100 hours for somebody, normally it's 150 for me, and I'm playing it on hard, and I'm also pausing every fucking second to make a goddamn dumb quip or
Yeah, no,
whatever, and I'm voice acting every character and blah blah blah. So, but I love it. I'm absolutely in love with it. I look forward to playing it every day that I do, and I don't know, man. It's just got a lot of right elements for me. Ticks a lot of boxes.
I saw you last night singing the fucking Amore song.
Oh my god, it was so good. That clip was amazing. So
That's Amore. Yeah, that was the
Zeke for the
so
live show. I want you to beat the game before we do the live show, so that I can bring the Persona 5 the art book and you can look at it because it's so cool. There's so much good shit in there, but it's like Spoiler City USA. So you got like what, a month and a bit. You could do it. I believe in you.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to finish this, man. I had so many people like tweeting me like, "Hey, dude, I love it, but you know, when you gonna play another game?" I'm just like, I gotta finish this, man.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Gotta
with
finish
Path
it,
of
and I'm
Exile.
not like dragging it out on purpose. It's like it's how I would play any game. It just happens to be very conducive to my style of like, stop, say something funny, then wait for a reaction. And that I bet that added like 30 hours already to my playthrough.
Yeah.
And also like going through like the Persona like fusion shit just takes forever for me because I just go through every option I possibly can. And it's just torture I'm sure for people, but people seem to like it, and it's, you know, still, if it wasn't honestly like business wise, if it wasn't doing well for my channel, I would be playing it offline. But it's still good for a community and for viewership, and also for like the chat. I mean, people are having a good time, it seems. So
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is there's not much else till Monster Hunter, so like perfect time to jump into a 200+ hour game for sure.
I think I did pick like the right time to do it for sure.
Yeah. There's really not much out. What's up?
I just wanted to say I'll just get this out of the way. Thank you, everybody, for embracing me as a new and permanent fixture of the Court of Swords role-playing show.
Yeah.
That was a mistake. Am I right?
I was gonna say, so we announced.
I didn't talk to Max about it.
You were overruled, Max.
Yeah,
Zeke was going to join us.
Sorry.
Zeke's going to join us as our new permanent cast member. What we didn't announce is that the rest of us are leaving the show. So have fun, Zeke.
Yep.
Oh man, I can do all the voices for this too.
Yeah. It's great. It's great. Yeah, that was announced earlier today as part of our 2018 announcements. The other thing is that we're doing a live show February 17th. The gang's going to be flying down and doing a live show. Should be fun. I think everyone's been there except for Zeke, so it'll be Zeke's first live show with us, kind of RPing in person. I think it's going to only get better, as it usually does with the live shows. They're usually kind of a step above everything else we do in terms of...
It's my first live RP, but we did the live drop frames last
We did
year.
the drop frames, that's true. Yeah.
But I get to touch the screen.
Yeah.
You touch the screen, and also just having that dynamic, like it marries the whole like us doing an online show with having that in-person D&D, no disruption of the flow kind of deal, really. You know?
Yeah.
Being able to talk directly to each other with no lag or anything like that in terms of like, internet issues and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I just got to chill because I had a thought.
Uh-oh.
Do we get
He's already suggesting new shit.
Yes. Yeah, we roll real dice
we get
on
a
the
roll-
set.
Yeah.
It's the chills again. I got the chills again. It's been so
And you got
long since
the
I rolled
overhead
real
cameras.
dice.
Yeah.
You got the overhead
Oh my
cameras that'll fucking whoop right into it. It's great.
Yeah. And the monitor... Uh-oh. Well, you got to roll our dice because we've
You
got
gotta roll our dice.
we've
though.
got
Big
special
dice.
contrasting dice for this camera and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
fuck your dice. You can't use it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Zeke, don't tell
No,
us.
hold on. Can I buy my own dice that do the same thing? Because they have to be my dice.
Yeah, probably. I'll tell you which ones to buy.
No, that's a deal breaker, though, bud. I mean, probably it's not going to work.
Yeah. No, I'll
I
send you the
gotta
link.
put my own juju
I don't
on them. I
roll
gotta
another
sit on them
man's
for 10
dice,
hours.
JP. How long have you been role playing? You don't know this.
I don't roll dice. I roll digital dice, man. So
It's the same thing for him. It's like his little, his baby chick that he sits on for 10 hours just to get acclimated and tuned.
yeah, he's gonna do
dice.
Adam last time he was telling us someone put all their dice in a bathtub or some shit to see if they're balanced perfectly. I don't.
Oh
fucking
yeah,
know.
the whole see.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
There's
Zeke.
a whole ritual. There's a whole redistributing of the luck of the dice and stuff like that. If they start rolling bad, you fucking throw those dice out, or give them if you start DMing, you give them to your players.
Adam actually physically removed one of the dice from the table because it was rolling so bad.
So Ken at the last live show was rolling really bad, and because he's a nice guy and he was real gentle, and he was in someone else's house and he hadn't played in real life with us before. He didn't know that this was okay, but he rolled like 3 1s in a row, and I was just like, nope, and just threw his dice across the room.
It was great. I was loving it because I was on the opposing side of him, rolling super well, and Ken just kept rolling the ones. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I think everybody else was rolling pretty decent, and then Ken just kept fucking everything
out.
Yeah.
No, the first time I ever did a one shot, JP asked me if I wanted to do it. I said, "Fuck yeah, I love Dungeons and Dragons, man. This would be my first experience doing it online and all this kind of stuff." And I said, I'll set up another camera so it looks at where I roll the dice, right?" And he's like, "No, we just do it on." I'm like,
"You got computers for that now."
I'm sorry, what? What now?
Yeah,
not real dice.
I've
gotten used to it, but it's not the same.
Yeah. Doesn't Roll20 have like a site that you can go and see the percentages or something like that?
Quantum Roller.
Yeah. The quantum
doesn't matter
roller.
when Adam still rolls way better than we do on a particular session.
Well, just like in Path of Exile, if you pay the developers, you're going to do better. It's just how it works. If you buy the MTX Path of Exile, you get better drops. If you pay or work for them, even, you'll just get better rolls.
Exactly. Adam has a relationship with Roll20. That's why I'm just like, I don't know. I know that they're supposed to have a fair, equation in how they do it.
Sometimes that's an abusive relationship because I get sucked into that hole sometimes too. Where I'm like, cool, you get attacked 18 times. I hit you once for 4 damage.
Yeah, that's true. It usually evens out. And those are some great shows when you just see the frustration Adam's like, God fucking damn it, I've rolled 20 times.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wait, does the quantum roll, are there 703,000 rolls ever on this website? When is this?
It's since the last time that they did the count. But rolls per hour are on the chart down below. So it's like a lot. There's a lot of dice getting thrown around.
Holy shit. 500 dice per 500,000 rolls per. Who the fuck? 500 fucking. Are people just in there fucking just spamming?
A funny side note. I have the door open, like, how there's like the little fucking thing where you like put the block there, like so that way somebody can come in.
Yeah.
Because Amanda doesn't have the key. Some random guy just like opened up my door, looked at me, and went oh, sorry. I was
nice.
Like, what the fuck?
I'm really sad.
Mom, I'm role playing in here.
Yeah. I'm really sad you weren't role playing.
Like some person who was just here for the event, whatever, but like he's in his hoodie and jeans, and he the door, looks at me. I'm like, were you checking to see what the fuck is going on in here?
Hey, is this the room for Sonic? Are you running the new Sonic game in here, bro? Is this?
Sworn there was an orc in there.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I was just like, I expected to see Amanda come in, and it's just this guy. I'm like, what?
I'm here for the role playing. Let's start.
I thought they were doing like a streaming for DQ.
Yeah. You guys having a party in here, or what's up?
Yeah. Well, let's do a little bit of recapping because there was some stuff that happened last episode. It's been a month or so. We should do some recapping before we jump into the episode because the audience doesn't remember, and the players remember everything.
In the last episode, if the commenters on YouTube are to be believed, I was trying really hard to make Max not play Berg anymore and was super passive-aggressively just trying to make you have a bad time.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm glad they got that. Yeah. We talked about that before the show. And
sometimes subtext is hard to read, so I'm really glad that like Huge Nuts 46 on YouTube recognized that I was just trying to make Max feel bad because I don't like him anymore. Yeah. But besides that, I feel like we had a pretty good time. It was fine. There was some hills to climb, some laser barriers to get through.
Yeah, that worked out.
Weapons to no longer be attuned to. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, listen, man. When Zeke tells you should drink from the fountain, you say no.
Don't put that evil on me. Don't put that evil on me, man.
Zeke drives up to your house in a white van and is like, "Hey, Max, you want some candy?" Say no, Max. Stranger danger. Okay.
Yeah.
Magic
danger sense, Adam. Danger sense.
That's right. Dude, yeah. Max's personal danger sense seems to have been on the fritz. But yeah, I mean, you've been in the realm of Utrix of the Seven Potencies for a time now, and we spent a little while down among the disciples, these monks and martial artists that dwell kind of in the lower regions of the sort of floating mountain that is the Seclusium, and and sort of spoke with them a little bit and moved through their these barriers that were causing harm to every Max that went through. So Berg was having a rough time. Something about these magical barriers were set up to repel something that is being detected in Berg. But the rest of you got to learn the sort of mythopoetic lessons of these people that dwell around the Seclusium. And then in our last session, you surmounted the final barrier and entered the Seclusium proper. And there was some slods, and that was fun.
Oh, that's right. We fought some fucking.
Oh yeah, I totally
chaotic
forgot about the slot.
toads. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and also,
Chaos Frog.
lest we fucking forget that just because you lost your thing to your hammer doesn't. I mean, you got depregnated.
That's true. I did. That's the silver lining. I would have been, super pregnant by a slot that was just gonna rip out of me. So that's nice, but it still sucks not being a tune.
Yeah,
Good
so
as
something
Bird can't smash. Okay.
something separated. Listen, Berg's just going through the magical tap shoes thing. You didn't need the hammer, Berg. It was all inside you.
You never needed the hammer, Berg. It was always within you.
The hammer was just an illusion. So yeah, you something about your attunement to the hammer was broken by the magic of the place. Magic in this whole area is very strange. We had Salihafa.
Yep.
I'm getting him to roll every time he casts a spell, and and so you're in this strange otherworldly domain. But once you actually got to the Seclusium, and you weren't like skulking around like a bunch of ne'er-do-wells, you were actually met with some basic human decency from a unicorn man.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, the unicorn guy's great.
Majestic unicorn. Yes, welcome to the Seclusium.
Yeah, exactly. So Zeridas, the Kirin, who is I guess some kind of like a major domo or servant of Utrix, met with you and gave you food and took care of you. There are a bunch of other characters like NPCs that were mentioned. Zeridas mentioned Elydia, who is a goddess of like something, but she made you dinner, so there's that. She's around. There's also Walida, who is another guest of Utrix, but you've been instructed to like leave her be. She has a room off to one side that you were like, yeah, just don't bug her. She needs her rest. She's a guest of Utrix. And Berg had a weird dream where when you woke up, there was that like lullaby or that humming sound.
Oh yeah, there was something like calling to me almost, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah. Something in the Seclusium was like reaching out to you. Yeah. So I feel like that's all the salient detail I have notes on. I know you all have your own reasons for being here. On top of the quest given to you from Inanna, the whole reason that you're here, which is to steal the as yet unknown experiment that belongs to Utrix.
And we inquired a little bit about that, but we didn't necessarily find out exactly what it was yet. So, still,
you've been pretty clear with Zeridas about like, we're here to steal something, but we're not going to. Maybe there's a different way we could shake this all out.
Yeah,
but you're guests of the Seclusium for the time being.
What if Berg was the experiment, and experiment was him going through the walls? Listen,
this isn't fucking Black Mirror, dude. I got some subtlety. Okay.
What if, man? What if?
Turns out the treasure was something about hashtags, and then the cyber bees got you. In the end, don't use Facebook, kids.
Don't use
I haven't watched the new Black Mirror stuff.
Yeah. I haven't either.
I love you so much, Adam.
I've seen the episode where the guy ends up being what he hated, and has a stream where he just holds the fucking shard up to his neck, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, spoilers,
Turns
man.
out-
Jeez.
Turns out
Whatever.
you're
If you haven't
all
seen it by
along.
now, whatever.
It's like
Last
2 years
season.
old. What, if you haven't seen it by now, the statue.
You haven't seen it by now, right? Let's
Yeah.
get some. You want to talk about Star Wars? Really pissed people off.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Max was
Don't
just
do it,
in the
Chad.
trolling mood. He trolled the entire internet by reading donations from a year ago.
I'm gonna fall asleep on this show, and the guy who poked in his head just a moment ago is gonna be like, "Hey, I'm watching. Wake up, dude."
Oh my god.
I like this new aggressive troll, Max. He's good. This is good
Yeah,
stuff.
let's do it.
High quality content in 2018.
It's really good. Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right.
Cool.
Well, yeah, we all went to sleep. That was the immediately last thing we did was
Yes. Yeah. Ramus enjoying the plush environs of the Seclusion. Berg having a much rougher sleep with a strange sort of haunting dream. And so maybe we do goals. Make sure everybody's set on those, and then
oh yeah, yeah.
we can get started.
At least restate them.
So, yeah, if anybody wants to change their goals, do it. Rock and roll. Otherwise, we'll go through them and just restate them. So, Berg, right now I have your goals as healing your arm and restoring your health. Find out why your destiny's gone sour. Why do bad things keep happening to you? And finally free yourself from servitude. Do those feel good for you, or do you want to add a new goal for the hammer? Or
Yeah, you know what? Maybe trying to figure out which one would take a backseat. What were they again? It was
healing your
ones were-
arm,
Heal my arm.
basically.
Pretty good one.
Yeah. And then finding out overall like why bad shit just keeps happening to you, and then be free of your bonds.
We can always revisit old goals, right? Can we? Or
Oh
is it
yeah,
a big
totally.
goal,
Like, this is just what you're focusing on, like right now, and kind of what you're working towards.
Okay, so let's swap out free yourself from vines or whatever kind of thing.
Okay.
Let's maybe put reattune back to the hammer.
Okay, so retune the apology. Okay, sounds good. All right, Ramus, I have you as talking to Inanna about your soul situation, leaving the wizard seclusion with something magical, and making sure no one dies in the seclusion of Utrix.
Yes.
And those are good. You want to keep those?
I'll keep them.
Okay. So the wizard Inanna, you may not be back in her company for some time. So if you want to do something with that one, you're welcome to. But
Oh yeah.
if you want to hang on to it, that's also okay.
I think I'll change it to that one to find out if the wizards here know what the vision we all saw of the man with the many hands, and my soul sort of made that
Oh
sound.
yeah, totally. So do you want that to be like uncover the truth of that vision?
Yeah, uncover the truth of that vision, because we all saw it collectively. It'd be interesting. These people would probably know something.
Okay. Yeah, and so to be clear for the audience, the vision that Ramus is looking to discover the truth of was the brief flash of the many-armed entity in the like library or herb shop or something with all of the jars. And there was that brief like something's happening. Okay, cool. Yeah, that sounds good. All right, Sully Hoffa, I have you find an artifact that can teach me about the creators and caretakers of this plane, learn why Berg is so important to the powers that be, and learn how the Soulless One exists. Do you want to change any of those?
I think one of those might be able to be completed today, or at least worked on. So I'll probably keep the other two.
Okay.
I guess a question for you: does the XP value change if it's taken out of the goals and then re-added later?
No. I just assign it based on how difficult I think it is.
Okay.
That might change. Like if it's hard now and it somehow becomes easier through no effort of your own, then I would change that. But just taking it off the list and putting it back on,
That makes sense.
Doesn't suit.
Yeah, I'll keep them how they are. I think I can at least work on probably all three of those if I ask the right questions.
Okay. And then Kalimat, I have find a way to ease Berg's pain, have a meaningful conversation with Utrix, and find out if the reading had any meaning to it. Now, I kind of feel like maybe there was a like nudge, nudge, wink, wink, like on that last one, like maybe you figured it out, but I don't know if Kalimat, like, because the Kirin, your host, Zeridas, basically said like, yeah, I mean, it doesn't really mean anything, but like people believe in stuff, and believing in something is what matters.
Right.
If you think Kalimat like heard that, then cool, and you can get the XP for it. But if you think there's still more like depth to be plumbed, then keep that goal.
Well, I think it's like the I don't know if conundrum is the right word, but the problem with faith. It's like faith only exists if you don't know.
Yes.
So like if you have faith in the cards, then sure. If you don't, then okay. That kind of thing. It's like, what do you believe?
Yeah.
So there's no real like I mean, there was a moment where he's just crestfallen and there's no like I felt something, but that was
so
me.
For the purpose of the goal, do you think that Kalimat understands that there is no inherent meaning to the reading, but that feeling that you have of profundity that comes from it is the meaning? Or do you think Kalimat is still working on understanding the complex relation, that thing that you just expressed?
Yeah.
Does Kalimat also understand that, or are you still working on it?
Well, here's the thing. In this particular world, it's tough because gods grant power, right?
Yes.
And that's a known entity. That's a known quantity that we can see. Like I pray,
Yes,
I get power.
Certain people pray to the Arcana, and the Arcana rewards certain people with magic spells. Yes, that's a literal fact. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But this is different, right? Because you don't have to be special necessarily to read cards. It's one of those sort of pseudo magical things where everyone understands that it's magical, but it's on a lower. It's like hedge magic. It's on a lower grade than say cleric's spells.
Right. Okay. See, the thing is, it's. I understand what the guy is saying, but I don't think it's something that I can actually find out.
Yeah,
I thought it would be concrete. I thought it'd be like, yes, you have the gift of the cards and the site and stuff like that.
I mean,
and now that someone says there is no such thing, I'm just like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's resolved, right? It sounds like you've figured that out, that it's more complicated than you thought, but that it opens you up for another. Like, I feel like you should get some XP for this one. Like, I feel like there was an answer there, even if Kalimat doesn't fully understand it.
There was some sort of resolution, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So let me see. That one I set as, I think, medium. Let's see how
You
much
the
that's worth.
Skyrim level up sound.
Let's see. A medium for a level 5 is worth 1,000 XP.
Okay.
So take 1,000 XP, and then you've got a third slot.
Cool. I'm just going to put the learn the location of another of my race.
Right. Okay. Excellent. So you'll come back to that one.
Yep.
All right.
And I think I could knock out 2 with 1 stone if I get the conversation with Ultrix.
If Utrix is the one that tells you, yeah.
Yeah, I might be able to do 2 at once.
Okay, great. So we've got everybody's goals squared away. I suppose the best place to begin would be like the next day. The group of you are either awake of your own accord or awakened by the gentle sound of wind chimes, like crystal and metal wind chimes, sort of tinkling quietly in the hall. I think that this place has its own kind of like magical lighting. Like there are marble lanterns that come to life to light the hall and kind of create a simulated day-night cycle. So there's a sort of artificial dawn inside the Seclusium that wakens you. And when you awaken and you return to the common area, there is the table that you were sitting at before, and there is a feast of like breakfast foods laid out there for you. But there's no sign of your host or anyone else. Just the food and the space. Just to get everybody's head in the right place. So the Seclusium on its inside, the place that you are in is sort of set apart from the main Seclusia. The Seclusium itself is a big hunting lodge, but you're at kind of like a far off wing from the lodge, like a guest wing. All of the places you've been in so far are spacious and nicely appointed, and it's made predominantly of an old broken kind of like marble ruin that has been repaired and grown over with organic like wood. So there are places where the wall is the organic grain of living wood, and then the stone wall kind of merges with that by way of magic. And all of the stone here is the same kind of pale like cream marble shot through with a mossy green veins. And it's set into a little valley in an artificial mountain floating in the gulf of magical space. So
for some reason, for the area that we're in, I keep in my head picturing like that like side off area when you're in Skyrim and like High Hrothgar, where there's just like a hallway with a bunch of rooms. That's just what I keep picturing. So.
Yeah, it's definitely, you get the impression that it's very much, this area is built for the comfort and housing of guests. That there are these rooms that are constructed to keep people in comfortably. And I think that the main kind of hunting, because again it's a lodge, so it's not like a high court table, like a long table with chairs. It's like a kind of round table with big seats, big plush seats. There's an enormous, this place is rife with fireplaces. There's a big hearth glowing with a warm light. And then I think that there's probably an exit out onto a like a promenade or a large, I don't want to say patio, but something like that where you can go out and look into the void or overlook the valley below. So yeah, I mean, I think that you all wake up, but I don't know who the first sort of people at breakfast would be. It's not one of those things where you're all just opening your door at once. Berg, you didn't sleep well, so
maybe Berg was there, yeah, because I was saying, like you said, he didn't sleep super well, so maybe just like at a certain point just got frustrated and got up. With
okay.
If there's anything going on breakfast-wise or just
Okay, all right. So
I would definitely be up and at him. I don't want to miss a single second of the action.
Okay, so Berg, you're maybe in the main room for a few minutes before Kalimat comes in, and I think that you notice that there are place settings for each of you, and then an additional place setting with like one more than the number of people that that are in your party. The meal is laid out before you, and you can, I mean, as soon as you smell it, your mouth starts to water. And if it's as delicious as the meal from the night before, you are in for a treat. And I think that's probably when Kalimat, when you come in from your room.
Wow, that smells delightful, doesn't it? Good morning, Berg. How did you sleep?
Not good.
Really? I slept like the dead. Oh, in fact, I'm having trouble keeping my eyes open, but I couldn't stay in bed with the waft of that, whatever this is.
Food.
What? Yes, food. You are correct. As always, sharp as a tack. What caused you to have trouble sleeping? Yes, dreams. What kind of dreams?
Not sure. Maybe feel bad. Wake up. Go back to sleep. Dreams again. Something calling me. Maybe. I don't know.
Have you had any luck reacquainting yourself with your weapon of choice?
Greg looks
Perhaps.
square at him.
No.
Well, perhaps this day will bear fruit in that regard. Maybe we can convince Utrix or ask him how we can bring you two back together, because I know that you have a very special relationship. And I guess I should take this time, since we are alone, to apologize for my hand in separating the two of you. It was never my intention. I didn't know, I should have known, that the water would have different effects on me than it would on you, just like the rings of this island did. And I humbly beg your forgiveness.
No way you could have known. Hopefully, I will one day be close and see the visions again.
Thank you, my friend. And now, I don't know about you, but I am famished. Let's take a seat.
Eat. Get your strength.
Okay, so Ramus, is it you or Selihafa that comes in at this point when they're like sitting, Kalimat sitting down to eat?
Wouldn't be me. I think I'm in my room tinkering with. I'm trying to understand the magics of this place. So,
Okay.
dinner is or breakfast, food in general.
Well, so why
is
don't we?
not
I mean,
of
why don't we cut
importance.
to that then? So you're
Okay.
you're in your room. Your hut has it's finished. The 8 hours have passed. What are you doing to test the magic of the place? What are your experiments look like?
Well, I didn't until that light clicked on in the room or magically illuminated, as you said. I didn't think that anything in the room was magical to begin with. Correct?
Right.
So with
Yeah.
that coming on, I probably would be investigating that first because I don't understand. There's no power source to it, and so being a wizard, first thing, well, that's magic. So I'm trying to understand how that works, and my
Okay,
stuff
sure.
doesn't work.
Okay. Make an Arcana check. We'll talk about the lighting system.
Okay. First roll of 2018. This is, you guys realize this can set the entire mood for the year. There's a lot of pressure on this roll.
Don't screw up.
Nail it. Nail it. Crit.
Oh! 2018, let's go, bitches!
Double
It's another great year of roleplay.
It's gonna be the best year. The best.
Oh my god.
We're doing big things.
Wow.
double crit.
Oh,
Fuck you,
wow.
dude. Wow.
The hypest it could possibly be.
2018.
Give me a good one.
We're coming, bitches.
Like dice Jesus. Well, all right.
Not just the crit, the double crit. Jesus Christ.
oh my god. That's good.
That's very impressive. Nicely
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think the reason.
Okay,
So the
I just had
reason
a-
why. The reason why you didn't detect it before. The reason why you were not able to detect this magical source was that I think that it's not always present. The light that emerges, the fire that emerges from the lanterns and that pervades this place is a bit like the respiration of some kind of like creature. There's a like living energy to it. This isn't just fire, but it's part of a larger elemental. And so you can imagine in that regard, as it breathes in, the light becomes brighter, and as it breathes out, the light becomes darker. And so that's what's happening.
Is this more like a primordial elemental, like a?
It's hard to say. Generally, elementals are the power of the plane that they're drawn from, and they're given form and purpose by a wizard. But in this case, it seems that this elemental power, if it does have any kind of consciousness, it is currently sort of slumbering or is in stasis somehow.
Okay. And when I put my hand on the lantern, there's no conference of energy or thoughts or anything like that that I can sum up or surmise?
No. I mean, it appears to be like, I mean, it's fire. It's just like a ball of orange flame that's burning in this stone lantern. It has warmth and light, but you don't detect any like intelligence or anything like that from this part of the flame. If you could find its source, right? If there must be a furnace or something, a greater hearth somewhere. But yeah, this is you're looking at a smaller piece of a much larger thing.
If I look around the room, does it seem to be piped into the room in any way, or is it magically?
Yeah, it seems magical.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then after realizing what's going on with the lamp, if I look around the room at anything else, does it seem like there would be something else that's magical in here? Whether it be the windows, whether it be, I don't know, anything.
I mean, the place itself is suffused with the arcane in the sense that it shouldn't exist, right? It's a place conjured from magic. You know, you have wood growing from stone. Everything about it is unnatural in the way that you understand that term to be applied to magic. Supernatural, I suppose.
Okay.
But that doesn't necessarily mean it's magic in the sense of it's an ongoing enchantment, right? Like, if you magically conjure a seed and then plant it in the ground, it grows into a tree. Is the tree still magic? So it's interesting. Certainly, I'm sure that it's something you've never seen before. But yeah.
Does it? Well, I guess that's more. This is more like almost a world building question. But is magic in my world, in our world, is it more of it all around us, and wizards are able to kind of confer that into being?
So what you would know, what the turtles understand, is that what we call magic, the arcane power to turn one's will into effect, flows eternally from the fountain that is seated at the center of the universe. And the fountain's light, the flow of the fountain in the metaphor, suffuses all reality at a low level. Wizards learn to control that flow by way of rote practice, right? There are magic words, magic gestures, and magical objects that allow you in very specific, pre-planned and understood ways to utilize that, right? So your magic missile spell is the same as every other magic missile spell in the world, because that's how you make magic missiles out of the flow of fountain energy in the universe. But sorcerers gain access to that flow in another way, and clerics gain access to it in yet another way. But all magic flows from the fountain. There is no other source of power.
Does it feel like the magic here is that a leap, I guess, in logic for the magic here to not be flowing from the fountain?
I mean, yeah, like that would require, if we want to get kind of metaphysical, but it would require that you like. It's a whole other theory, right? If magical power is coming from something that isn't the fountain, that's like dark matter and shit. That's like that's a great hypothesis, but would require a lot of like work and study to understand.
Well, I'll start on that. I think that's where the turtle minds go.
Fuck it, I'm doing it.
I'm sitting there staring at the lantern, and I kind of have that realization of, well, maybe the fountain doesn't reach here. And it begs,
I guess it doesn't, but it asks the question why Utrix would have built a replica of the fountain in the courtyard, right? Because Zerados said that he built it because it reminded him of his home.
Right.
So,
I think it's important enough to Sully as a character that, you know, if I'm nothing without the ability to do magic. So this is a big enough thing that fuck breakfast. I'm trying to understand this.
okay, cool. All right.
This is like,
What was that, Zeke?
sorry, this is like totally like that Pulp Fiction, like eating muffin moment where he's like, yeah, I'm just sitting here eating my muffin, thinking about the events of the day, and I just came up with this whole fucking fountain thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And
So
at this light, I'm just like, what is everything?
yeah. Good morning. I'm just going to work on the grand unified field theory of magic. We'll see in a few minutes.
yeah. So unless you guys come and, you know, knock on the door, hours pass. I'll sit there in deep thought trying to figure this all out until it's figured out. That's just kind of like in my nature as a character.
All right, so Ramus, you're the one that I suppose then brightens breakfast with your presence.
Yeah, Ramus had found a carafe of fine something that tasted like wine, so he drank a lot of it before going to bed, and now he's waking up and he's just not in a good mood, just a little hungover from all the liquor, and just walks into breakfast and just like.
Are you still wearing the robe that you found in your room?
Yeah, I'm wearing the bathrobe, but it's just like disheveled and just sort of hanging on there, not as pretty as before. I'm just like, just keep it down. It's don't be loud, please, you two. I look at the two at the table. I need something. Just, is there anything that looks like bread?
Berg just hands him like a chunk of like very nice bread.
It's a loaf of bread. Here you go.
Yeah.
I go to hand him bread, and I purposely knock over a glass onto the floor.
Right. Yeah. So the metal goblet tumbles to the floor and bounces off the marble with a pinging sound, which to anybody that isn't in Ramus's position would sound like a beautiful bell ringing, but for you it's like a knife right into your ear hole.
Piercing, screaming banshee scream just for a second. Just, did you have to do that, you clumsy fool?
I'm sorry, my friend. I couldn't resist. Please have a seat. The food is delicious. I'm sure your head woes will be gone in a moment.
Thank you.
Or grabs like a thing of ale or whatever, just like giving it to him.
Yeah. Make.
Oh God, no, Burke, no.
You must.
No, that will make it worse. Trust me. I had an experience with doing that. That's really bad. Don't. No.
Hair of the wolf.
Yeah, hair of the warg.
Yeah, I'll stick with something that looks like water, please.
Okay, so the three of you sit for a moment or two before you notice that your host, that Zeridas, is in the room, and I very much mean that you just sort of notice him, like he was. You look away, and then suddenly he's there, or he was in your peripheral vision all along. And as always, he communicates through your mind, through telepathy, and he says. I trust you slept well, guests. The accommodations were to your liking?
You must teach me that. You must teach me that trick. I didn't hear you nor see you come in. I thought I was good at that, but you put me to shame. Yes, the accommodations were perfect. I slept very well. My friend Berg, however, did not.
Do you say anything to elucidate on that, Berg?
No, Berg's just kind of staring at the unicorn guy, right?
Yeah. He's a Kyrian, and is like kind of like somewhere between a unicorn and like a dragon. Like he's got some scales. He's basically horse shaped, but he has scales over much of his body. A large kind of bone, like a knife shaped
creepy unicorn,
singular antler. Yeah. And he He just sort of turns his head, and you don't say anything else?
Last thing he said was Berg didn't sleep well.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Berg just goes,
Bad dreams.
And yeah, the Kirin just like kind of looks at you a moment, as though like taking stock of you, and then says, the master will return in the evening. Please feel free to wander the halls, explore the Seclusion. Utrix will meet with you tonight, if it is what you wish.
Yes.
Are we allowed to touch stuff?
You can feel the Kirin's like amusement at that, and says, "At your own peril, of course."
He touched the alcohol last night.
Yeah, it's if you could just telepathy a little quieter, that'd be great. Thank you.
So I think yeah, the Kirin he's walking towards you, and gets within like a like arm's length of you, and there's this like spear long kind of iridescent, like it looks like a weapon coming up out of its face, but Zeridas says to you, he like inclines his head slightly to kind of indicate that you should like touch the horn, and says, perhaps I can assist you.
I barely know you, but all right. Grab it.
Put your hand on it. Okay. Yeah, you feel instantly better. You feel no longer hungover. You feel like you could drink twice what you drank last night and be fine. Yeah, like all of a sudden you feel like rested and good.
Wow, that is some good stuff. Thank you so much.
Of course. It is my job to make sure that the master's guests are properly attended to.
Oh, you fellas got to touch that sometime. That was great. Damn.
So Zeridas says, I will be here and there attending to the master's business. If there's anything you need, simply speak my name. Yeah, just as quickly as it appeared, Zeridas vanishes. It's just like, again, you blink or look away and look back and it's gone.
just fucking Batman does.
Yeah, but like right in front of you, like you blinked.
Yeah.
It was like you just wasn't ever there to begin with.
Feel better, Remus.
Oh, I feel like I just rested for years and woke up. I feel amazing. Like everything just cured all at once. Damn.
Berg hands him the ale from earlier.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that is. Woo, that is strong, but that's good. That's good. Where's the turtle?
Yeah, you look and you see that Salihafa's door is still shut.
I think that's where Berg realizes too. Just like looks around like,
I don't know. Kali, have you seen Sally?
Well, he is a turtle after all. He takes his time about things, so if he chooses to join us, I'm sure he will. I mean, if they wanted to harm us in this place, I'm sure they could have by now. So I'm sure he's either sleeping or thinking. One of those three things. Which he is want to do. Did Zeridas, by any chance, I was in another world, oddly enough. Did Zeridas say when our host would be joining us? Utrix.
He said this evening he'll be coming.
Tonight.
Perfect.
I don't know how you tell when it's evening here, though.
That is a very good point.
Probably when Utrix is here.
I actually laugh.
Yeah, that's some wizard logic right there. How will we
Berg's
know
literally
when?
just he's being literal of what he knows.
When will the wizard arrive? At evening. When is it evening? When the wizard arrives. Berg's got that wizard logic down.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about you, but I have a very strong wanderlust. I would love to look around this place, and
You want to explore? Let's do
I
it.
would love to.
Max, take inspiration if you don't already have it.
Nice.
Nice.
Made sense to Berg, right?
So, I mean, if you want to explore the general layout of what you've seen of the Seclusion is that it's a series of connected buildings in this little like valley, and you haven't really been into the like Seclusion proper. You're kind of in the guest house. So there's that, and you would assume there's probably like cellars or like stuff below the Seclusion as well. Though you haven't seen any of those yet.
Well, I think that my first order of business will be to explore the namesake of this place and the Seclusion. Ramus, Berg, would you
Sounds
care to
good to
join
me.
me, or okay?
Yeah, it's probably
Sure.
best we explore together in case we get in trouble.
Of course. I go up to Sully Hoffa's door. Dunk, 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 dunk. Rouse yourself! We are being kicked out of this place. Hurry! You must run.
The camera kind of goes from his point of view through the wall and on the other side, and I'm literally there with white chalk drawing on the door with these arcane sigils.
Right.
He
There's
bumps
a little cloud of chalk dust when he bangs on them.
and he bumps
When,
the arcane sigil. I'm just like,
When Kali
The chalk like screeches on
snaps.
the
when
Yeah.
Kali says that, Berg just looks at Kali like,
What?
you're doing.
You must hurry. Ramus has been forced to eat his own leg. Come, hurry. Join us.
It hurts so bad.
the door just kind of slowly opens, and as it opens, Kali, if you're right in front of the door, you can peer in and just see. I've got a large portion of the room just drawn on with different arcane sigils, with different theories and whatnot.
Well, I see you've been busy.
I look past you and see Ramus seems to be fine. You're doing what now?
Oh, wow. His leg must have healed. We're going to explore. We have been informed that our guest, or excuse me, our host will be arriving this evening, so that gives us a handful of hours to look around the place. If you are busy with your studies, that's fine, but we are going to walk around and look at things. You're welcome to join us. Also, breakfast, if you'd like.
I appreciate that. I'll stay in my room. And the door just slowly shuts.
as the door closes, Berg grabs like a, I don't know, like a piece of cheese and bread that he just grabbed for Sally that no one, because he like
Yeah, you see a turtle claw just snatch it right before the the door snaps shut.
like
Yeah. Thank you, Berg.
Yeah. And I turn around and I yell loudly, well, I guess we'll just have to read the tome of eternal mystery without you. All right, let's go.
Doesn't exist.
Not a real thing. That's bullshit. Get out of here.
Yeah.
All right. So where do the exploration boys go first? You're gonna leave the room where you ate your meal and head out for the main building.
Yeah, I guess
That
we'll go
was
to the
my-
main
yeah.
building.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Sure. So you head out there. Now we stay with the room. The three of you leave and we stay with the room. And now that it's empty, we see someone enter the room. We see the door to the guest quarters that was occupied when you got here. Creak open, and a dark cloaked figure emerges. They step into the room and make their way towards the table. And this is shot very explicitly not to let us see their face, but we do see as they pull a chair out and sit down, we see at the edge of their cloak, trailing along the floor behind them, we see a black scaled tail wrap around the leg of the chair as this person sits down. And then we fade to the outside. So outside, the light has not changed. It's still the sort of perpetual silvery starlight over everything. The sort of sprawling area with its river-like ramble paths connecting all of the outbuildings. And the three of you are walking across the courtyard towards the largest of the buildings, an enormous sort of hunting lodge looking building, and in doing so you'll cross the courtyard where the fountain was. So are you talking, or is this just like, let's go, we're going straight to this building, everybody, we're on a mission?
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine it'd just be like idle chit chat, like, look at that,
We're
look
just
at this.
excited to get inside and see what's in there. Just sort of like walking quickly to get there, like we're going to Disneyland.
I can't remember. Was that the fountain that Berg drank from?
Yes.
Yeah, Berg's just eyeing the fountain.
Yeah. All right. It doesn't look like it's gonna like jump out and attack you.
Yeah, I'm purposely not looking at it. I still feel guilty.
Just awkwardly
looking at it, thinking about,
Are you thirsty, Berg?
No. No, I'm not.
Okay, just checking, make sure you're
Let's
comfortable.
keep moving.
Yeah, just keep going.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you cross this area, and you come to the Seclusion proper. You come to the main kind of building, and when you approach the doors, there are these intricately carved these huge doors. If you open both of them, you could drive like 4 wagons through side by side. And they are carved on this side with a like a lattice sort of carving, so you can see through in places. There's a faint light coming from inside, and it looks to be on the front a kind of abstracted carving of some sort of like pastoral scene. You see what looks like maybe it's supposed to be a like a boar, and it looks like it's being chased by some kind of wolf. And there's like the moon and some birds overhead. And as you approach, these enormous wooden doors begin to swing open to reveal the hall beyond and to invite you in. And you can see that as the doors open, on the other side, there's another carving of a man who is carved into the thing to look like a giant. Like there are other figures kind of standing around his feet, but none of them reach even his knees. He's holding a book in one hand and a staff in the other, and wearing some kind of intricate crown, and is gesturing at the gathered people. And then on the scene above the people are like falling stars. And what's masterful about the work of this door is that the holes on the outside match the holes on the inside. So the lattice carvings, you can look at them from either side, and the stuff lines up. And when you come in, it swings closed behind you. You can see this huge carving on the mighty doors. The hallway beyond is mostly of the white veined marble. The floors are covered with lush carpet. There's this big, long, like carpeted pathway on the cold stone, and I think ahead of you into sort of main hall, there are on either side of you in alcoves. There are objects set into these alcoves on pedestals. But you'd have to get closer to take another look at them.
Yeah, I will go to the nearest one
Okay,
and see what's
sure.
on the pedestal.
Yeah, so the pedestals seem to contain trophies or treasures. You know, it gives you. I mean, Kalimat's a world traveler. You've been to a museum before in your life or an art gallery. So it's like that. But you know, one of them you walk up and it's like a skull, a polished skull, obviously not of a human. It's this sort of long skull with holes on the side, and then no jaw, like just kind of an empty triangular space, and then like a kind of a beak. So the skull of no creature you've ever seen before. There's one that is a pair of fine satin gloves, fringed at the cuff with tiny platinum bells. So black satin gloves with bells, and they're under glass. There's a very plain-looking stoneware mug with a gold lip around it. Yeah, there's all kinds of unusual objects. Some of which are unusual just simply by looking at them. Others are unusual because they seem to stand out as being simple. Right? You see a single gold coin unmarked on both sides.
Does the cup, the stonework mug, does it look like it was made by a carpenter?
I don't know. Take a drink from it and find out.
I had to.
Hey, you just drink it. Just drink it. Go ahead.
Yeah, just drink from it. There's a
I think,
old ass ghost, and he speaks to you in a
Berg-
bad English accent.
Berg's after like realizing there's like some stuff that might be considered treasures, Berg's just kind of looking at Ramus, sort of deal. Like to see, you know, if he's eyeing it, if he's starting to get that glint in his eye that he's seen many times, you know.
That coin looks beautiful.
Don't
Don't what?
don't do it.
What? Don't drink from the fountain? Don't worry, I won't.
Berg just looks at him, like shaking his head no.
But it's so beautiful, and it's just right there.
Probably traps.
Now, does it look like? I mean, the gloves with the bells are the only things that are the only thing that's under glass, right?
No, I think there are probably some other objects that are in that position.
Okay, but there are some that are out that can be touched.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Okay.
ostensibly, but yeah, they're not.
Right,
Not everything
right.
is like protected.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think like in one of them is a glass dome with a single like a twig kind of like growing up out of the pedestal, and then there's a lizard sitting on it like a chameleon, but it seems to be made out of glass. And you think it's a carving at first, but then it's sort of like one of its eyes like rotates to look at you.
Oh, okay.
When you walk up. Yeah, all sorts of. I would say there's about like 20 or 30 of these little alcoves as you're walking up the hall.
Are there any like plaques or anything denoting what these things are, or?
No.
Okay.
No, not that you can see.
Okay. And no one else is here. Like no one's wandering around. Just
No one's
us.
around. Yep.
Cool.
You see, one of them has a silver, like a broken silver sword, that I think calls immediately to mind the sword that Ninsubur had, the attendant of Inanna. So it looks like her big long silver two-handed sword, but it's shattered, so it's in a bunch of pieces, lying on one of the pedestals. And then also you see a pair of like rusted manacles, whose chain between them is broken, and the manacles are flecked with dark blood. And I think Berg, you find yourself like maybe drawn to, or like that's something that you notice in the sort of menagerie of Utrix's things.
Okay. I guess
Do you want to take a minute to look at it, or do
Yeah,
you
just stare. What specifically was it? Sorry.
It's just a pair of like iron or steel, like ancient looking rusted manacles. So I guess they'd be iron. Yeah, rusted like wrist manacles with broken chain between them.
I think
and then
Berg-
they're flecked with some kind of dark fluid like blood.
I think, yeah, Berg walks up to it and like looks at it but doesn't touch it. He's pretty gun shy about touching or checking anything out too closely, and just stares at it.
Can you make a history check?
Sure, probably gonna be awful.
Yeah, this.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're not super good at it, but
Yeah, Bert,
You never know.
Make that history check.
Hey, not bad.
Bad.
14's pretty good, yeah. So, yeah. Something with the 14, something about this is like you look at it and you like there's something that you feel like is familiar or like you can feel like on the tip of your tongue some profound thing about this object, but there's no markings, there's no like tag or plate, there's nothing to tell you what it is, but looking at it, some part of you're just like, oh, I should like you feel like you should know something. It's not your brain. There's like in your heart something like calls out to you.
Let's be honest, nothing's ever in Berg's brain. It's always his heart.
Yeah, you suddenly want to crush, kill, and destroy everything in this room. But yeah, no, there's just something eerily familiar. And I think, Ramus, you notice Berg like staring at these manacles.
Are you okay, Berg?
I think maybe he hears you, like kind of like looks, but doesn't quite acknowledge. Like he makes a gesture of like, I'll keeping his gaze on the manacles.
Or do these interest you? Why are you staring at them?
I don't know why, but something about these are familiar. I don't. Maybe.
Berg thinks back to his dream. Did I know? You gave me some visual like imagery and stuff like that, but I don't think there was anything specific. Could this?
It's something different. It's something older. Okay. It's like hearing a song.
I just wanted to see if there was some sort of connection there because I know you said something was calling to him. So maybe if it was.
Yeah, it's like hearing a song you haven't heard since you were a kid, or like the smell of like a meal you haven't eaten in 20 years, right? Like it's triggering some like buried deeper part of your brain.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what, but something very close to me. As from old times, maybe. I don't. Do you want to look?
Are they covered in glass, Adam, or are they just sitting out?
No, they're just sitting on the pedestal.
Let me take a close look, and I grab them and pick them up.
Just straight up fucking grabs them.
I'm glad you did, because I was getting impatient.
Yeah.
All right. Can you make a Constitution save?
Oh,
I knew it. Okay.
Oh.
18.
Okay, so you only take half damage. So it's just a little shock. You take 7 damage, 7 force damage, and you're like knocked across the hall and land on your butt in the middle of the hallway. So you go to touch it, and it's just like, bam, like you get hit by a truck, like a horse kicks you right in the
Dare
chest.
you bait me, Adam? How dare you?
Throws you on your ass, and you're like you're knocked out of breath. It's like sitting on the carpet.
still with us, Ramus?
No.
I figured it was going to be me or you to go first, and I'm glad it was you.
Give me the horn again.
Finally.
The horn.
Just lying on the ground.
I didn't get hurt.
Yes, don't jinx it now, Berg. I mean, the day is still long.
Don't worry. My path will have more pain.
Well, aren't you just a sunrise? All right. Well, what were you looking at? I walk over to them because I was looking at other stuff, and I hear this go on, and what are we looking at? I see the
just a pair of shitty old blood-stained manacles.
Do they look like prisoner slave manacles? Would I know anything about these?
Make a history check, but you're gonna do it at disadvantage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, not bad.
15.
Okay, 15, not bad. So just a little better than Berg. For you, yeah, I mean, I think that this is less like an emotional response to them, and we're like, you recognize not specifically what's so important about these particular manacles, but yeah, they're very, very old. You know, for they're probably like more than 1,000 years old. You can see they've been used, but not in a long time. And the chain wasn't broken by an external force, but they were pulled apart. You can see that the links are bent. And yeah, they definitely look like the kinds of manacles you would use to like lock up a prisoner of some kind, but not like there's like, you know, not like you could tell. They're fairly utilitarian. They have no ornamentation or anything like that.
Okay. Well, it appears that these wristbands are quite old, and they were torn apart. They were not broken by a tool. They were broken by the person wearing them, or by just a sheer amount of strength or something of that nature. So whoever owned these was probably someone a lot like you, Berg.
I think Berg said it's kind of under his breath. It's up to the others if they like pay attention enough, but he just says like,
Break free of your minds.
Berg walks up like even closer and like, I don't know, he like smells it maybe just to see if there's any like familiar scent to him.
I mean, the smell of blood and iron is an old and powerful sense memory for a half orc who's been in as many fights as you have. It smells like, yeah, like a bloody blade. It's a very familiar smell for sure.
I walk over as if Berg is still checking out these things and thinking about stuff. I go over to Ramus and help him up and make sure that he's okay and stuff.
Don't touch this stuff. Don't touch it. It hurts real bad.
Noted.
Thank you for helping me up.
My pleasure. Well, shall we continue exploring?
Yes.
All right. Now, did you say there was lots of rooms with this sort of setup with like pedestals and shit on it?
No, this is sort of the entrance hall. This is the like,
Okay.
welcome to the Seclusion. Look at all my cool treasure.
Gotcha. Okay.
So these are laid out on either side of a very wide hallway. The hall is like this hall is maybe 30 feet tall, and you know, again, 60 feet wide. It's huge. And so you know, it's like you're walking down this path into the Seclusion proper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, tell you what. You guys keep exploring or whatever. I would be remiss in my friendship if I did not go and try and fetch Salihafa, because he would never forgive me if he were not allowed to see these things. These things interest him to no end. So I'm going to go fetch Sally, and I will return forthwith.
Okay.
So I'm out.
Okay. All right. So you head back to get Sully. So Berg and Ramus, do you continue down the hall or do you wait here?
I think Berg looks at Ramus as like,
We wait or go.
They can catch up to us. I think we could go a little bit further.
yeah, and they just keep going.
Okay. All right. So the hallway at its end, there's an arch, and it comes out into a large sort of circular chamber that appears to be at the center of this part of the Seclusion. And there are archways that lead out into the rest of the Seclusion. But this is sort of the centerpiece. It's like all of the other artifacts were a warm up. And when you get here, there is a room, and it's shaped like it's got, I guess, seven walls. And then in the center, there is a slightly raised pedestal, maybe 5 or 6 feet tall. And on it is an enormous, I think maybe at first you take it to be an enormous and very well designed, like drawn, like statue, basically. It's I don't know, like 15 feet tall. It's humanoid, so two legs, two arms. Massively muscular. It is not wearing anything, but it doesn't have like genitals. It has clawed feet, three-toed clawed feet, basically human hands, but with claws on the end. Deep red skin, and has a sort of bowl-shaped head with these two massive curling horns. Wrapped around its shoulders are two bat wings that, if it were to unfold them, it would be, 30, 40 feet across. And piercing the thing's body at various intervals through the legs, the arms, its chest, are 3-foot-long, like platinum spikes. And then it has a cage of platinum like around its head, and it appears to be like it's posed on one knee in a sort of subservient like pose. And as you walk in, I think the only thing that really like kind of tweaks you to the fact that it's not a statue is that the two of you, both of you feel all the like hair on your arms stand up when you walk in. And you can feel there's a sort of energy in the room around this like thing. What do you do?
But what the hell is that, Berg? Does it look like it's alive, or if it's just like is like it moving at all?
Make a perception check.
Perceive if you could see its eyes tracking you through the room.
19.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. So it doesn't. It doesn't have pupils that you can see. Its eyes are just a glowing white. But very, very gently, you can see its chest moving slightly as if it's breathing.
My God, Berg, I think it's alive.
Yes,
Never seen such a creature.
I think so too. Be very, very careful.
I dare you to touch it.
No. And don't you touch it either.
Trust me, I'm not touching after what just happened in the other room. You think we
She
can
said
talk
there's
to
no.
it?
No, sorry.
Should we talk to it?
You can try. I won't.
I'm just waiting for someone to say initiative.
Hello, creature.
Perfect.
It doesn't respond. Yeah, you don't get any response from it.
I was gonna shit myself if you were like, it blows out air.
Oh, either it's ignoring us or
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the thing is like being held in place by these spikes that are put through it. Like they're not physically pinning it down, but they're definitely like puncture like wounds. They're not meant to be there.
must be like
Or
a
like-
prisoner or a pet or something.
Yes. But if it is a pet, makes me wonder just how powerful Utrix is.
Having this much power to control such a creature, it's an enticing thought.
I can't help but feel for it. A little.
Oh yeah, I guess. It is kind of the S word, isn't it?
Slave is the word.
Yeah, I know how you are about that word, and I don't like to say it around you out of respect for my friend.
It depends on how you say it.
Okay.
What else is in here?
Yeah, so looking around, it seems like the place extends out into like there. You can go and wander through other halls.
Berg, what's your favorite number between 1 and 6?
Berg, like thinks on that. Like, more than you should.
Yeah, the entire room just falls silent, and Ramus is like, "Oh fuck."
Oh
See,
my
like
God.
Berg, like,
I
do,
walked
like, one
into
of the-
this
like-
one.
3.
3. Are you sure? You want to take another 5 minutes to think about it? All right. Okay, I guess we'll take the third hallway from where we entered, and then from the left, and we'll go down that hallway.
Pick a hall and start to explore. Okay, great. So meanwhile, back in the other room, Kalimot, when you return, you find that there's still one unused place setting, but all of the other plates have been used. You can see like there's like remnants of food, or the utensils have been set. The chopsticks are at a different angle.
Okay.
So Sally might have come out and had breakfast.
Right.
But his door is still shut, right? Sally, you're still in your room, door
Yeah,
closed?
yeah, I haven't left.
Okay. The other doors are either wide open, or in the case of the guest room door, like mostly shut. It's open just like a tiny bit. The other guest room. But yeah, so you walk back in the room and
Okay.
head for Sully's door.
Now, call me on this if you like, but would there be any reason for me to give the breakfast table another look or a closer look to see if Sully had come out here?
I mean, you're the inquisitive type, right? So you could you could pause and take a quick look over it if you wanted.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to make a perception check.
Okay.
Okay.
12.
Yeah, I mean, it's just as I said. I don't think there's any reason to know who. Like, it's just like, oh, there's still one unused plate, but the thing that would seem the most common would be that, yeah, like Sully came out at 8, but there's still an unused place.
No, I was thinking like as a passing glance, having been with Sully for so long, I would know that he would never leave a half-eaten apple or something like that. He'd eat the whole thing or not at all, kind of a thing. You know, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, because he eats like a turtle. So like eating an apple is just jamming the whole thing in his mouth and just crunching it a couple times and swallowing it.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like the place where Sully would have been sitting.
So there's your indication, and that this just comes from knowing Sully, is that like everyone who ate their meal used the utensils, which Sully doesn't usually do, because Sully's just like, oh.
Okay, so I would notice there was muck or food particles on the utensils.
Yes.
Where Sully would have been sitting. Okay.
Yeah. So it couldn't have been Sully unless he suddenly decided that it was the day to learn how to use chopsticks.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So I kind of noticed that. I kind of cocked my head. I'm like, strange. All right. And I walk to Sully's door.
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun. Sully.
I don't answer back.
Sully, are you in there?
I don't answer back.
I try and open the door.
Yeah, it's not locked. It opens.
Okay.
I didn't lock it, at least, unless something else did, Adam.
So is this like walking into the like
Well,
cell?
if you want me to describe the room, I'd love to. Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
It's like the Marquis de Sade.
When you open the door, do you open the door slowly? Like what's your? You just
Well, yeah, I
open
don't
it?
want to see your turtle. I don't want to see your turtle penis if I don't have to. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
Hey, he's got a cloaca, so it's
I do.
always in stealth mode, so you don't have to worry
I do.
about it.
Okay.
Wake 'em.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that.
Yeah, you turn the door and slowly open. And as you do, like you're met immediately by a huge mouthful of just chalk dust. And I think as you continue to open, you start to see that the entire room is just filled with like these arcane symbols across everything, except for the lantern, which is pristine and has not been touched. And in the very center of the room, the bed's perfectly made and everything, room's pristine, except for the arcane writings everywhere. In the center of the room, you just see me in shell, completely internalized, sitting in my shell. But I realize you entered the room, but I just don't say anything to you as you enter.
Well, I see you've been busy. I hate to interrupt your whatever this is, but I joke and I play around a lot, but there's definitely some things I think you would regret not looking at. There's a museum, the solitarium. What is it called again?
My head starts to come out of the shell, and you see the rest of my limbs protrude outwards. I go, it's a seclusium.
There we go. The Seclusion. It's a museum of sorts. It's a trophy room. There are pedestals with many wondrous and mundane items that have definitely have a magical effect, because Ramus was shot halfway across the room by trying to touch one of them. There's a crystal chameleon. There are manacles. There's skulls. All kinds of curios and wonderful things that I've never seen before. And as your friend, come with me if you want or don't. But I felt obligated to tell you about them. Also, you should eat some.
Berg brought me food earlier. I'm quite fine. When you look over at me, you see my eyes are just strained red from all of the chalk dust in the room, because I haven't probably blinked very often, and if I have, there's been chalk dust on them. And I, almost as if I ignored everything you said up until the very last thing about eating, I walk over to the lamp and, do you have one of these in your room? And I point towards it.
I do right at him.
Yeah, everyone does.
I believe we all do. It's a lamp. It gives off light.
Do you understand where the light comes from?
Do I need to?
I walk over to the other side of the room and point to an arcane symbol. I think that's it. I think I've solved it.
Solved what?
I turn to you very sternly. Where the light comes from.
Yeah, I think you could find it. Like if you were to go out into the Seclusium, you could definitely find the source of the light. Yep.
It's here, on the grounds.
Well, happy day. I'm happy that you found it. Now, on to the next mystery. The mystery of the Seclusium awaits you. And there are many mysteries in there. And also, if I may say, I left Berg and Ramus on their own, and the gods only know what they might be getting up to by themselves. So,
well, I think that's there's no better scene change than a phrase like that.
You see my eyes get wider as you say that.
You're like, I left them alone, and who knows what they could get up to.
In my mind, I'm like picturing Ramus like poking the thing.
So the two of you headed off down a hallway, and we find you in a strange room. Now this room is mostly grown from the organics. You've come out of the main hall and into a side room that is kind of like you're walking around on the inside of a tree. The floor is still flat, but has the grain of wood. The walls are in a kind of like strange, like undulating pattern. But you're standing before what looks like an incubation tank, but grown out of this like fine light like wood. So it's this enormous, like maybe 30 feet across, like glass, maybe surfaced ovular shape thing, but it's nestled inside. There's a tree kind of grown up around it. So it's like 30 feet across, like a sphere of like glass, and either the glass is green or the fluid within is green. And it's like kind of shadowy. The fluid is like murky, and every once in a while, bubbles will like come up the outside of the glass. The room is hot. Like you both of you feel you've been in here a minute and you're sweating already. And there's just this like kind of damp, like organic smell in the air. And there's something in this tank, but it's hard to tell what it is because it's so murky. There's like algae or something on the inside of the tank. And the two of you are standing before this strange bubbling object.
What do you think it is, Berg? Why have this?
I honestly don't know why I have any of these things.
Boy, it is hot in here. I walk a little closer to the edge and just like see if I can like notice if anything's in the liquid without touching the thing. Just like get a little closer look. If I can see if there's anything inside.
Make an investigation check.
As you get closer to, like, Berg's worried you're gonna touch it. Just like,
Don't do it.
16.
16. Okay. Yeah, something is moving. Something's moving around inside. You see, it may be like it's like 10 feet long. You catch like a fin, a kind of like a long shape that's like moving around. The tank goes back a ways, right? It's because like a 30 foot sphere, but you can't. You can't quite tell what it is.
Something in there, Berg. Like something fishy. Or like has fins or something. Can't make it out, but it's weird.
and Berg try to see if he. Would you
like
give me a roll? You want me to just
you want to go up and
investigation?
take a look?
Yeah.
Okay. You walk up and take a look. Same thing. You can make an investigation check if you want to. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see some like dark shape, but it doesn't look like it's like further back through this murky water.
It's worth a chance at a crit.
Yeah.
After all, when you get a double crit for your first roll of the year, you know.
I know, yeah, you set the precedent.
Berg just looks at it like,
Must be like another cage for another pet or prisoner or whatever these things are. Seems to like collecting things or creatures.
Yes. I was going to say that as well.
Of course you were, Berg.
Keeps- What does that mean?
I'm just saying you're the most intelligent half-orc I've ever met.
Message received.
So while the two of you are talking, you don't notice this, but we as the audience, because the shot is framed with this thing in the background. So you're turned looking at each other, and something like swims up to the edge of the sphere, right, the surface, and it presses two thin, like webbed human hands up against the glass, and we can see a halo of long dark green hair floating around its head. It has the upper body of a scaled human woman, and then from the waist down, it is the tail of a long, beautiful fish. It's got the kind of orange gold coloration of a koi, and she presses her hands on the glass and is like looking at the two of you while you're talking. And then I think, what is it like? Who notices it first? Like do you both like look over and she's like pressed up against the glass, or does one of you notice? And are you startled, or what do you do?
I think like probably Berg's like just staring off at it like awkwardly, like I'm like, what's wrong with you? What? It's just and then I turn and I see like the woman there just super shocked. Like, what the?
Okay. Yeah. So you you start, and she like cocks her head slightly, and she smiles at you, and I think Ramus, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw for me, please.
How about before he makes that charm roll, we take a break?
Okay, let's do it.
All right, let's do that, and then we'll see if Ramus is about to get charmed by a fucking mermaid siren thing. I don't know what it is. Anyway, we'll be right back. Still got 2 hours left to go here of Court of Swords. Don't go nowhere. We'll see you guys on the other side.